Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Lucasian. I am one of the admins at Trackalicious Sim Racing, replacing Trev Hummer tonight, who is not feeling well. Trev, hopefully you feel better soon. Get back onto your A game. We are at Suzuka tonight for the Porsche Cup Championship on our round 2. Hopefully we can hear everything coming through okay. I'll be monitoring the stream chat. Let me know if there's anything from the audio levels that is not correct. So just about to go into qualifying here, and my game crashed. So let's get that back up real quick here. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. It's a awesome way to start the night, but we'll get it figured out and get it going here. Alright, as it gets rolling here. Lovely intro video. One of the cool things about our server, it's super easy to search for TRACKI. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use the Brett the Hitman Heart livery tonight, as I'll be streaming, but we'll save that for another night. Hopefully next week Trev will be feeling better and he'll be back to take on his streaming role.
Go, go, go.
As we hop back into practice 2. Oh, an hour early here, so, or half an hour early. So let's just watch these guys get warmed up, get ourselves warmed up. As we got Josh Willis here, who's one of our faster drivers. Go around a lap with him, see what he's got to offer. Bamf Healer, thank you for the sub. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you Thanks so much. Glad to have you with us tonight. We're just getting warmed up here with 20 minutes of free practice, going around with Professor Chronotis. Trying to see him deal with some of the understeer the Porsche Cups have to offer. See wrangles all over the first turn, unable to keep it on track. Let's move on to someone else and see how Ray's doing here. Oh. Alright, let's try someone else. Richie Drallman. What's interesting to see is everyone we have here is some of our better drivers that we have in our other leagues, but it's tough to change from one series to another as they try to hone in their muscle memory to try and figure out how to get back into the Porsche Cup mindset, which tends to be a lot more understeery, given that given its lack of aero compared to our GT3 cars, but similar power. So also without traction control or ABS, it does tend to be a handful. So that's why you can see these guys struggling a little bit, or just trying to find the limits of the grip as they are in practice here. Have another 18 minutes to make their mistakes and then fine-tune it for a qualifying session. Oh, Harris. Well, glad you can at least join us for the stream. It's sorry to hear that your wrists are messed up. To be honest with you, I've been struggling the last couple of days myself a little bit with all the driving we've been doing, but hopefully you feel better soon, and looking forward to seeing you on track. Dual Halo, hello. I have to be honest with you, I've never played any of the Forza Horizon games myself. Was always more into the sim and realistic races, racing games. So I was always a Forza Motorsport person versus a Forza Horizon person. But that game does look exciting. It's got a lot of cool new cars. Just wasn't something that I ever got into myself. Hello, Builder of Worlds. Let's go into some of the TV cams and see the beautiful livery Richie's got here. He's continuing the 80s neon jackets that he was rocking in the GT4 series last season. Nice to see. It's fun colors. Definitely stands out. See what times they've got put down. So Josh Willis got the fastest time so far. Got 7 people on here. Hopefully we get a couple more joining us. We do have 20 signed up, but it is a Saturday night. People have various responsibilities to deal with. Some streaming instead of driving. Others, I'm sure, have some real life responsibilities that they have to get to, but hopefully we'll get a couple more join here before the race starts. And hello again to everyone. Appreciate you joining us tonight. If you weren't here earlier, my name is Eric Lucassian, replacing Trev Hummer tonight as he is not feeling well. Hopefully you feel better, Trev. Um, Tonight we will be doing our double-header Porsche Cup at Suzuka. Headed to Japan for this race today. Uh, we have a pretty exciting field. Although it is small, we have an extremely competitive field of drivers tonight. Often, most of these guys often top 10 in our 46 grid GT3 league. So very excited to see how tonight plays out. See who is the most competitive tonight. In understanding how to switch their minds off from their usual GT4, GT3 mindset to our Porsche Cup inaugural series. So Porsche Cup cars drive a little bit differently, or quite a bit differently from our GT3 and GT4 cars. So it does take a minute for our drivers to wrap their minds around and reset their hand-eye coordination, their muscle memory to really accommodate for the Porsche Cup style of driving. As we get into our max wait time, reset, and get into qualifying here. So we have a 10-minute qualifying format as we see some of our guys starting to head out. Josh Willis, first one out. Awesome livery from Josh Willis. Let's take a closer look if we can. You know what? Let's go to F7 mode. Really cool detail in his livery as he starts going around, warming his tires up. Bunch of tracks on there. Super detailed. I know I spent a lot of time making this and representing Trackalicious with the Trackalicious logos on there. Super cool. Stay on this view for a minute as he goes through. Approaching the Degnas. Killarinka, unfortunately, I will not be racing tonight. I was planning on it earlier in the week and found out that our regular streamer Trev was a little under the weather and not up to streaming today. So hopefully we get him back for next week and I can show you guys my poor skills on stream again. So a bit of a relief, but also a bit of a bummer in not being able to drive, but also not embarrassing myself tonight. So we get to see some of the more skilled drivers within our community and in our league. As I said, that Josh goes off, but hey, testing the limits. If you don't exceed the limit, then you don't know where it is. I'm sure he'll correct that in his next lap. So we have almost everybody out. Almost everyone out here. So let's go back into the broadcast view again. Camera tries to find Josh in his outlap here. Actually, you know what? Let's go in car. Let's see the motion here from the in-car cam. So let's see how Josh does in his first time lap. A little bit of looseness into T1 or in the middle of T1, but that's something you got to deal with the Porsche without traction control or ABS. It's a little bit more focused on your raw driving talent, and the most skilled foot in the TSR and the Trackalicious Sim Racing community, Josh Willis, self-proclaimed of course, but yet to be proven wrong right now. So definitely one of our more talented drivers within Trackalicious Sim Racing, taking the Degnas quite skillfully. A little bit of oversteer in the exit, but managing to keep it under control and go into the hairpin here. $200R pretty much flat out in any of our leagues as he goes into Spoon. Very tricky corner. As you see, minor corrections there for Josh as you get this off camber, late apex, trying to get as much speed into the straight. Gets really good exit there for Josh. Carry that speed into the straight, out into 130R. Typically a little bit of a lift for our GT3s, a little bit more for the Porsche Cup as you get a little bit more understeer in the Porsche Cups with the lower aero that you get on these vehicles. Taking the last chicane quite well. As he exits Casino Triangle, out into the front straight, and posts a time of 2:06. Let's see if we could basic HUD here so we can follow Josh's times. And Richie comes in with a 1.18 second delta. That's Provolone with 2.9. Let's see how the rest of the field fares. Let's follow Pickrell here. Oh, it's Chrono. Let's go with an onboard with Pickrell. See what he can do. It's an interesting livery. I don't know if that's one of the stock liveries or not. Looks like it could be. Interesting set of colors on there. Hey, good evening, Carbon. Hope you're doing well tonight. Carbon racing in our GT4 league. Phenomenal driver, coming in with a second place and a first place. And that second place did have an incident involved, so we'll have to see what the final outcome is after the stewards make their decision. But really competitive driving, really fun. Good big field in our GT4 series, and Carbon joining us in our second race, and hopefully for the rest of the season to see if he can topple over two-time or three-time GT4 champion Riley Manier to get him off his first place pedestal. Oh, we'll keep going, Carbon. We'll give credit where credit's due. Let's watch Richie as he has a 4/10 delta. 5/10 now. Really up on his time here. Really, oh no, as he spins out in Degna 2. That was he was putting in a good time. I'm sure he's gonna go out there pretty quickly here. He had the delta he needed to catch up to Josh for that P1 position as Josh maintains that provisional pole right now. Richie might just have enough time to get out there and put another lap in to challenge Josh for that P1 position. And as he does that, let's hop on with Cody Wassam. Constable Cody. Looking like he's half a second up from his time. Might bump him up another position there to challenge Jason Provolone for 5th place. Appreciate having you, Carbon. It was a blast having you there as well. I think this season's going to be quite exciting to watch in our GT4 series on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Got quite a few competitive drivers. You'd think we were driving on Mars with the number of aliens we have in our league now, so very excited to see how that one plays out, albeit from the back of the pack for me. Cody now a second, nearly a second and a half up on his time. Be great for him. Probably making up 2 positions there, maybe a third one up into 3rd place if he keeps this going. As he comes into 130R. Loses a little bit of delta there. Into Casino Triangle. Casio Triangle, I'm sorry, I've been saying that wrong. Casio Triangle. I'm reading it off. I don't know the corner names too well, so I do apologize about that. And gets up into 5th place. Not bad, not bad. Oh, bumped down into 6th by Pickerel. But, and that'll be that for him. Let's see. Willis is on a slow lap. Provolone out there. Professor Kernotis, 7/10 up on his lap time here. It's not really going to get him a position there, but good for him to find the limits of his car as he adjusts for the Porsche Cup. Appreciate everybody joining us. Oh no, and he loses it out of Degna too. And I think that'll be it for our quali standings as Josh maintains his P1 position. And we can go through that as we wait for our max wait time. So we have Josh Willis, P1, with a 2:05.7. Richie Drallman, 2:06.5. Morrison, 2:07.3. Pickerel, 2:07.4. Wassim, 2:07.6. That's a tight mid-pack there. Oh, and then we have Frias, 2:07.6. Chrono with a 2:07.6. Wow, that is going to be an interesting midfield today. I am excited to see how this one plays out. And Burkhoff with a 2:09.5. That is not a typical. Oh, sorry. That's actually Chrono with a 2:09.5. And Heavenborn and Burkhoff not putting down times, but those guys are pretty quick as well, as Josh does donuts in the background to celebrate his pole position. Let's see if he can maintain it. Hello, Tato Dorito. You make me hungry. See Pickerel out there taking advantage of the max wait time to put an extra lap down as Josh fries his tires, but hey, who cares? He's going to be replacing them for the race. Alright, so we have 3 minutes to race start. Going through the grid again. Maybe let's do a little bit of fly through here. Check out people's liveries if we can. Alright. And we have Josh Willis in P1. Super detailed, cool livery modification. I think of something that he brought over from the liveries that he was able to find online, representing his Grin Reaper. Richie Drallman, P2. Super cool 80s windbreaker livery. Pickerel in P3. I'm pretty sure this is one of the stock stock in-game liveries. Maybe not. Not sure. And we have the hero car with Morrison in 4th place. Super cool. Matt Morrison, actually, one of the few drivers who's actually had experience in Porsche Cups. See that it's playing to his advantage here in 4th place. The Michelin car, Jason Provolone. Super cool colors. One of the classics, of course. Followed by Cody Wassam, Constable Cody in 6th place. Cody is, he's one of the drivers that he is an overtaking master, I would call him. Extremely patient, very calculated, very strategic in his moves. So I look forward to his drive today. I expect that he might make up a position or two, to say the least. Ray Frias in the monster Porsche. Look at that. The details on that livery is really cool to look at. And Ray, again, we've got a full field of really fast drivers. Ray has really stepped up his game over the winter, or I should say over the break since our last season. Super cool to see him up in the pack of really fast drivers in our other leagues, and doing a good job here as well. Professor Carnota, super detailed Dragon Scale Porsche Cup. As we go to Crow Heavenborn, representing Canada in his Canada 150 livery. As a fellow Canadian, I can appreciate this one. And back to Mike Burkhoff with his Manti Racing homage. Love that orange. And finally to Snyder. It's the raw, classic Porsche Silver with a little bit of flair to it. Chrome. Awesome. All right, let's get back to the front here, and see if we could get this all sorted out. There we go. How the start goes. Josh is typically a pretty strong starter, so I expect him to maintain that first place position, but hey, you never know. Richie's really stepped up his game, putting in some great times recently, some great performances. I believe he got a couple of first places in our off season, so in the short 15-minute sprint, hopefully everyone's calculated their fuel correctly. So we don't have any mishaps there, but yeah, let's follow these guys and see how this opening lap goes, as we do have a full lap formation. To our helicam here, we'll keep our HUD on Willis. As he takes a couple more opportunities to warm his tires up. One of the things you got to be careful again without traction control or ABS to make sure you don't make a fool of yourself and take a spin, or even worse, damage your car in the warm-up lap. But these guys doing a great job so far. Sure they warm their tires up, warm their brakes up, maybe even try to find the grip limit as they go through know, something I do. Not sure if it's really relevant, uh, given that you're going at significantly lower speeds, but I try to build a little bit of a gap and then maybe test the limits in a corner or two. As they enter their formation as requested by the sim. See them going green very shortly here, so hopefully everyone's in their correct position so they don't get a drive-through penalty. So this is the point in time where you really got to focus, get your position, and be ready to go. We should be green shortly. And we're green, green. Josh Willis gets a great start. Richie going, tucking in behind, trying to get a bit of that draft. Cuts Morrison off a little bit as Pickerel makes his way through to third place. Gets really close to Richie there, has the inside. Let's see how it turns out going into the S's. Richie manages to maintain his second position, but drops back from Josh a little bit as he defends from Pickerel there. Josh is trying to stretch his lead a little bit there, doing a great job at it. And he's taking off, so let's go back and see how things are going in the mid-pack. So we do have Josh Willis, Richie Geralman back into Pickerel, Morrison, Provolone still in 5th, Blossom in 6th, Free 7th, Heavenborn, Chronotis a little ways back and loses a position to Snyder there. And we have Burkhoff in the back. Oh, something must have happened to Mike there. I'm sure he will not stay there. Burkhoff has quite a bit of pace, so I'm sure he's going to make up some of those places. Let's get back up to first place here and see. Richie trying to close up some of that gap there. Let's go into Richie's car and see how he is doing. Gap's at 3/10 right now. Takes a great turn into 130R as Josh goes wide. Is this an opportunity for him to catch up on the straight? Needs to be really clean into the Casino Triangle. Hey Huff, good to see you. Race has just started as Josh makes a mistake in 130R, but that doesn't seem to give Richie too much of an advantage as he's now 6/10 back, so Josh must have gotten a really good exit into the front straight. Back here, Morrison making a move on Pickerel here. Let's go into the sky cam because it looks like it's going both ways. You have Morrison trying to make a move on Pickerel as Provolone tries to make a move on Morrison. As we expected, given their quality times, we do expect to get a pretty tight midfield. Very exciting to see. Well, actually, it's pretty tight all the way up to the front. Richie Geralman doing a pretty good job of trying to stick with Josh Willis. As they start getting settled in on their 4th lap. Oh, and we see Pickrell make a mistake. Gives Morrison an opportunity to close up the gap there. Let's go inside. See if he gains anything. Doesn't look like much, but little by little. That's what it takes. Really great on braking. Looks like he makes up quite a bit of time there. Although some of it is given the accordion effect, but he had a bit better braking on that than Pickrell did. So. As expected, going back to Mike Burkhoff here, making up some great time. He's 10 seconds back and he's back up to the field. Gonna put some pressure on Professor Chronotis here, as Chronotis either making a mistake or just giving him the gap to make it through. But we do expect Burkhoff to work his way through the field a little bit. No, not sure how far he's gonna get with the short sprint we have here, but he does have the skill to pull off some. Oh, and we see Heavenborn spin out on the side, so that's another free position for Burkhoff. And now his next target with a 13-second gap is Jarek Snyder. Let's get back to the mid-pack here. So our camera takes a minute to find itself, but there's Cody. As we said earlier, Cody is quite a master when it comes to overtakes. And he's very patient, very calculated, very fast, and really sets himself up to put pressure on the driver ahead and force them to make a mistake while he uses his significant pace to his advantage. And it's going to be a tough one for him here because all the drivers ahead of him are quite fast, so it's going to be a tall order, but you can never count Cody out. As you see the entire field ahead making a move to the right side on the front straight to try and break that draft that you get. Doing here as he gets pretty close to Morrison. Provolone, new to our league this season, so already proven himself to be quite the contender as he rocks this awesome Michelin livery. Given that everybody is in a Porsche Cup car, so in our spec race here, it really comes down to consistency, well, pace, outright pace for sure, but also, you know, how few mistakes can you make? You see a little bit of the rear end sliding out for Jason Provolone here, loses a little bit of time that he'd gain on Morrison, but I'm sure he will clean that back up and see if he could really challenge for that 4th position. Let's get back to Mike Burkhoff here as he continues to use his pace to advantage, catching up to Jarek Snyder here. It's a great exit. Onto the back straight into 130R. It's a great place to get a good exit as you carry that speed all the way through this back straight as he lets off a little bit to pick a good position to overtake Snyder. I expect that he might be doing something here as he gets in and out of Casino Triangle. See Snyder making a bit of a mistake there. A bit enthusiastic on the right foot. And again, seeing Burkhoff with his consistency, his pace, his patience. I expect that it's going to play off over the next couple corners here. Great entry into the first turn. Again, seems a little ambitious on the right foot for Snyder, going deep into the S's, allowing Burkhoff to catch up a little bit more. Let's try a bit of a different repping Fanatec as a bunch of our drivers rock the Fanatec gear. Huge grid of CSL drivers for sure. And some direct drives, I believe, too. Excited to see how their new CSL DD plays out in the market. I know it's going to be a pretty attractive bit of kit for some of the folk looking for a more economical direct drive option. Oh, and Snyder makes that mistake. Burkhoff gets through. There we go. That's 9th place for Mike Burkhoff. Good job. Awesome. Let's go back to that. Challenging. Oh, looks like Morrison's made a mistake. You know, love Morrison. Great driver. His consistency just lacks sometimes, and he's got great pace, but a bit too often we find him in our rearview mirrors, as you can see, with that excellent pace, but sometimes lacking the consistency. And to me, being a mediocre driver, I might not have the right to say this, but I find that he drives his cars at 11/10. He has that pace for sure, and it's exciting to watch, but also comes with the inconsistency. If he could just rein that in just a little bit, I think he'd be extremely competitive in all our leagues. Yeah, you know, as we mentioned before, Cody is a very strategic driver, and I'm sure he would have taken it into consideration that both Morrison's pace and his inconsistency could have been a factor in him trying to decide whether to let him go or not. And knowing Cody, I think that would have crossed his mind. Let him go, not take the risk. No need to defend. We still got maybe 3 minutes, and see if he can get him at the end by just being consistent and letting Morrison make the mistake. It's not a lot of time, so might have been a bad move for such a short race, but in a longer format race, I'm sure that would have been the right strategy for Cody Watson. You know, he's able to tighten that gap. There we go. As mentioned, going into what could potentially, I think that's the penultimate lap. We're probably going to get another lap after this one. But yeah, Cody's 5-head IQ playing to his advantage as he makes a mistake in the first corner going into the S's. Let's see if he's able to hold Morrison off. I expect that he'll be quite a bit more defensive given that this is the penultimate lap. But it's quite exciting to see how this one's going to play out for these drivers. Oh, both going off there. Morrison looking on the inside. Does have it, but Cody gets a better drive out of Degna 2, giving him the advantage into the hairpin. Morrison tries to go for a dive. Cody, again, that 5-head move, giving him some room, making sure that he doesn't get taken out, and it still ends out ahead. Great drive by Cody in that corner. But Morrison does get the better exit out of the hairpin, and makes it. I think there was a bit of contact there. Potentially a bit of contact. We're not seeing it in our timing, but yeah, it gives Cody a 3/10 advantage as they go into the back straight here into 130R. Let's stay here as it is the closest battle we have on track. Let's see how it takes 130R. That was quite clinical from Cody Watson, maintaining that, extending that gap to 6/10 now, 7/10 nearly. So a great move, great strategic play. Oh, and he gains another point place advantage as Jason Provolone makes a mistake up ahead, out of the casino triangle. So Wassim, with his patience and strategic play up into a podium position. 5 seconds, 6 seconds nearly from Pickeron's second place. What happened to Richie Geralman? I apologize to the stream for missing that, but we're gonna stay on here. But maybe we can go back and see what happened for Richie to end up in 5th place. And let's see what happens here. Is that just a reflection, or is Matt Morrison giving some headlight photon encouragement to Cody to go a little bit faster or get him off his game? And it looks like Morrison made yet another mistake, fell behind. Delta is now 1.3. I think Cody's gonna take this one. Let's go and see what Morrison is doing in here. So our screen loads up. I know he's gonna want this. He's gonna go 12/10 if that's possible. Yep, just going a bit too deep. And Cody at a little bit more of an advantage as we head into the end of the race here. Let's hop on with Josh Willis as he goes into the casino triangle. Oh, he's got Pickerel challenging him for the lead. Oh, gets really close, but is not able to pip him. That was a great move by Pickerel. Maybe we can go back and watch that again. Great job by Josh, 1st place. Pickerel in 2nd. And who else do we have coming in 3rd? Oh, if I could manage my controls, I apologize. It'd be better. So we have Wassman 3rd, Morrison in 4th, Drallman 5th, Frias 6th, Provolone 7th, Burkhoff 8th, Snyder 9th, and Chrono finishing out the top and only 10. Well, despite the relatively small field, I think that was quite exciting to watch. Little bit of spice for Morrison there. Pickerel making quite the move at the end, and let's go back and watch what happened there. And hey, we have Joshua as the winner of the sprint 15-minute race. Josh, that was clinical. Not far from our expectation of what we've seen you do in the past. How'd that go for you? Yeah, we saw Prickroll making up some good time, challenging you there. Nearly pipped you at the Casino Triangle right before the front straight, but managed to keep a cool head and take that win. So what's going to change for you in the next drive here? And is that going to be different than what you had for your 15-minute race? Alrighty. Uh, Josh, that was a clinical performance, not far from what we expect from you. Um, Good job, and maybe you could pull up Cody or Pickrell up here for us. Thank you. Let's see what happened to Richie. Oh, he spun out of Degna too. And we have Pickrell here. Hello, Pickrell. How are you doing tonight? That was pretty awesome. Where did you qualify again? Yeah, we're actually watching that right now out of Degna 2. Little eager on the right foot there. And cost him a couple of positions. So we saw that you ended up in P2, but you had a bit of a challenge for P1 at the end there. Maybe we could go and have a look at that. What happened there? Yeah, you know, unfortunately, it seems like it's too often the case that you always are just looking for that one more lap. But you know what? Great performance by you. It was really nice to see you up in that second place position. And hope to see you up there in the second one. Thank you. And if you could maybe convince, there he is, Constable Cody up in here. Well, thank you, Pickerel. Good luck in your next race. So, Cody, we were talking about your 5-head moves on track. Your patience and your strategic play, I think, is maybe second to none in our league. Why don't you walk us through your mindset through the second half of that race, because we saw you let Morrison by, and what were you thinking there? I mean, that played out for you in the end. Made a mistake and allowed you to go through. And I'm hearing on here that they can't really hear your interview, that side of the interview. So I'm going to summarize in saying that Cody was essentially trying to keep the car pointed in the right direction, given this car and track combo, assuming just from a slight bit of unfamiliarity with it. And knew that he had some pace advantage in some areas of the track and not in others, and tried to take advantage where he had the pace, and ended up being patient enough for Morrison to make a mistake and take that second place. Well, thank you, Cody. Good luck in the next race, in the 45-minute race. I'm sure you're going to place quite well in that one as well. Alright, thanks guys. Good luck. Zippy Fox, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what you mean by pristine thoughts.
Green light, go, go, go.
That helps quite a bit. I appreciate you splitting the letters up for me, because that super clarifies things. Thank you. It was a fun race to watch for sure. If I remember correctly, you're one of Wassum's friends. We gave you half an interview with him. You heard my end, which is probably the more boring end as opposed to his end, which would have been a lot better to hear. And let me try and figure out that technical difficulty here. looks like we missed a follower here. Sword and Keyboard, thank you for the follow. Apologize that I missed that earlier, but appreciate all you guys joining us tonight on your Saturday night to watch these guys race. Small field, but quite competitive. We have a really interesting midfield today. Josh seems to be pipping them by a couple of tenths a lap, but let's see if some of these guys can find a little bit of pace and challenge him for the win. You know, with these longer format races, with the 45 minutes, a lot more opportunity for things to go wrong. Fuel, pressures, pits. We do have a mandatory pit. It does not require fuel or tires. We'll have to see what decisions our drivers make and whether they feel like the 30 seconds for taking those tires could be saved and enough for the remainder of their stint to really gain that advantage. So it's going to be interesting how the strategy plays out for these guys, depending on what they pick. As we reset and get ready for our qualifier. Let's see. All right, Richie goes out first. Gets ahead and so we can follow him through his lap. Let's see what he can do. Yeah, you know, Josh Willis, number 22, competitor to me in GT4, competitor to me in Porsche Cup, but happy to call him my teammate in our GT3 series, driving the Porsche GT3 R. He has found some pace over the break. He was a pretty mid-pack driver in the Mercedes last season. Front mid-pack. Did win a race, which is awesome. But, you know, he's just found this pace in the Porsche. And a pace that was enough for him to win both GT3 races in our doubleheader last week. So, really cool to see that, that progression. Cool to see that progression in a continually advancing field of drivers. So not only is he progressing, but he's progressing more relative to some of our other drivers who have also been improving. So really credit to him for his consistency and development over the break between last season and this season, and it's really paying off early in the season, and hopefully he'll be able to maintain it. He's clearly putting on a clinic in our Porsche Cup races, comfortably winning the first race. So he got in a little bit of a tight battle in that first race towards the end, but was able to maintain his lead. So let's see how Richie goes through in this first lap, in his hot lap here. So being very patient on the throttle, given that there's no traction control. So nice exit out of the first turn into the S's. Really nice, hitting the apexes as you'd want him to. Then going into Dunlop here, which is quite important. It's got a little bit of a straight after, so it's really important to get a good exit out of Dunlop here. Doesn't seem like he loses the back end, so really well controlled. Nice control on that right foot, throttling out, going to Degna 1. Good cutting of the apex, Degna 2. This is where he lost it in the first race, but is able to maintain his speed. So looks like he's a little bit off of his pace. I'm not sure why it's showing that 3-second delta, but looks like he's putting down a good lap. Late apex into spoon, trying to carry that speed onto the straight. Really nice, good control again of the right foot. Throttling out smoothly, not losing the rear end, carrying that speed into this back straight right before 130R. Let's go a little bit of lift, gears down, doesn't go too wide. Seems to have hit his braking point, maybe a little early, it sounded like. Getting his exit out of Casino Triangle. Pretty controlled again. Staying to the right side, trying to get a little bit of time advantage with a 2:07.2. It's a pretty decent time. I think the last pole was at a 2:06, and I'm sure he's going to gain a bit of time for his next lap. But let us see if we can hop into someone else's car. Josh Willis's car. On pace for a pretty decent lap. Pickrope pips Drallman for P1. Willis onto his first hot lap. Must have invalidated his previous lap, but let's stay with him here and see what he's able to do. Bit of a correction into the first S, but hitting his apexes goes a little bit tight. Very patient on the throttle, hammers down. At the end here, let's see if he's able, oh, and he misses that apex quite significantly. See that him missing the apex did get him in a bit of a squiggly moment, but him being the caliber of driver that he is able to keep it under control. So currently we have Pickrell, Burkhoff, Wasson, Drallman, Morrison in 5th place, with Willis yet to put down a time. He will get another go after this one, so it'll be important for him to put down a safe lap and then put it all out there and see if he could get that pole position. Spread right now is 2:06.4 to 2:07.7 from 1st to 5th place, so a little over a second gap. That apex as well. Goes in too deep, but I'm sure he's gonna set himself up for this next lap. Let's just stay with him for a minute here. Okay. That was a pretty phenomenal lap to have made that mistake and still gotten a 2:05.9. I must not be paying attention, so let's stay with him and see what he can do. It seems like his rears are getting quite hot. He's not able to maintain the lap, but I'm sure he's gonna try to cool down and go for another one. In the meantime, let's go see what Burkhoff's got. It's 8/10 up on his lap. Would be enough to take that first place position, that pole from Josh. And looks like he is going to do it out of the last turn here. The second advantage, putting him in pole with a 5/10 advantage over Josh Willis. So that'll be the last go for Burkhoff there for Mike. Let's see. Looks like Jason Provolone, half a second up on his lap, which should get him another position here. So let's see if he's able to maintain that delta and carry it through. Oh, that's a bad turn for him. Loses 4/10 on that one corner itself on the hairpin. It's a tough one. You really have to prepare early to make sure you hit that apex, and obviously a lot of time lost in not doing it. That looks like it's gonna not improve on his time, so let's go back to Matt Morrison. 4/10 advantage for him. Not quite enough to do anything just yet to pit Jason Provolone, but he does have quite a bit of the lap left, so let's see if he's able to nail the portion of the hairpin that Jason missed. Making sure that he stays to the right, gets his braking point, gains a bit of an advantage, up to 6/10 now. Still not enough. Still not enough. Need another 3/10 here. He's got Spoon, the straight, and the casino. So let's see if he's able to rein in the Porsche. Patience out of Spoon, which is needed. Gets a good exit. Gets another couple of hundreds there. Still not enough, but let's see. Up to 7/10. Seems like he went a little wide to that second apex. Does get 7/10, and I don't think that's gonna be enough for him to get 6th position. No, it is not. So provisional pole with Mike Burkhoff in the pits here, quite comfortable at a 2:05 with 5/10, 6/10 to spare nearly. Great lap by Burkhoff there. And we're seeing some people still out with red deltas, so not going to make up any time, but hey, can learn a thing or two on the track. Looks like Willis may have lost there at some point in time. Yep, Josh definitely needs to work on his right foot there a little bit more. Just isn't enough. Not for this go around, but I am sure he's going to bring it to Burkhoff. So we will wait for a session start, and I'll be right back. So as Josh reminds the entire grid here, it is a mandatory pit with no requirements. So only requirement is the car has to lift up and come back down. So really great to see that awesome orange Manti Racing Porsche up in the front here. And Mike Burkhoff promoting that this could be you, which is true. We are welcoming of all skill levels, most advanced and beginners to all of our championships in our seasons. We just ask that our drivers are respectful and are able to maintain their car on the road in a safe manner. I feel that's pretty reasonable overall, and just with the intention that, you know, everyone have quite a few people that put a lot of time into practicing for these races and want to make sure that we don't ruin anyone's night for some silly mistakes. But let's follow the cars here as they get into their formation lap. Fly through Burkhoff there, maybe go backwards. Woody Story 28, thank you for the follow. Glad to have you here tonight in our Porsche Cup race at Suzuka. Headed into our 45-minute race, coming off of our 15-minute sprint with Josh Willis winning the first race, Pickrell in second, and Cody Watson with his 5-head patient move, finishing up the podium position in third place. Grid's a little bit different. Starting off, Burkhoff didn't get a quali lap in our first race, so nice to see him actually get a lap in and get pole position nonetheless. Excuse me, get pole position nonetheless. Absolutely. While challenging, Suzuka is one of my favorites. Historic track, lots of great stories, lots of epic races in Formula One and in many GT style races. So globally recognized, international level, historic track in Japan. Love it. Very happy to see us race here, and we'll be racing here tomorrow in our GT3 series at 8:30 Eastern. We have a grid of 46 people. It's going to be crazy. We have a vast range of skill levels, all the way up to the Riley Minears and the Mike Burkhoffs and the Josh Willises. Riley Minear being our 2-time champion, or 3-time champion, I should say, but back-to-back GT3 and GT4 champion, being challenged by Josh Willis this season, as well as Mike Burkhoff and Pickrell and Wassam. Richie Drallman finding some pace this year. Sure will be going for those first places as well. So yeah, it is going to be exciting tomorrow, but today we are at Suzuka in the Porsche Cups as we see our drivers finishing up their warm-up lap going into 130R, and let's go into Pelican. Follow these guys. Stay on Josh Willis for the time being as he stays on the brake and throttle, keeping his brake temperatures up, making sure he doesn't miss that first corner braking. And let's see if Mike Burkhoff nails his start, as we saw Josh Willis do in the first race there. So Alright, so we are in our grid formation. A little farther back here. Green, green, green. Looks like Josh got quite a good start. Not seeing anyone with any drive-throughs, so that's great. But Burkhoff has the inside line, takes advantage of it, gets ahead of Josh, and I'm sure Josh is going to pressure him into the S's. Gets a little bit squiggly out of the first turn, so gives Burkhoff the ability to defend, but still staying quite close. It's critical of Mike to hit these apexes and ensure that he stays ahead of Josh as they roll out of the S's into Dunlop. Mike's skill and precision proving out to play off for him, give him the advantage that he deserves, being in pole position as they go through Degna 1. Degna 2 looks like Pickerel coming into the play a little bit here as they go into the hairpin. Josh putting a lot of pressure onto Burkhoff. Looks like he's got the pace, but Burkhoff has the position advantage. Gets a little squiggly there, gives Burkhoff a bit of advantage out into 200R, I believe that is, as they go into Spoon. Mike maintaining his advantage. Into the straight. Let's go into Josh's view and see what it looks like from his driver perspective. Gets a better exit out of 130R, and he's going to challenge him on the inside into the triangle. Burkhoff might still have the inside. Gets a better exit out. Maintains that advantage. Wonder if Burkhoff is going to try and break the draft. No, he's not, so Josh does get the draft off of him. Interesting to see if he's going to... Does not get the advantage into T1. Very tentative driving, very respectful driving from these two. I actually want to go back into Helicam. Looks like Josh got a better exit out, but Burkhoff has the inside. Josh misses his braking point, goes wide, gives Burkhoff the advantage again. That field is bunching up behind them. Drallman going for a move, a bit of a tap to Cody. It was a bit of an ambitious move, but he made it play out. Cody, being the skillful driver that he is able to maintain his vehicle on track. Good to see, and this field is quite tight over here. Let's move back a little bit and see if Richie is able to pull a move on Pickerel here. Goes a little bit deep to Degna 2. I'm sure he's a bit tentative now, given that he had the spin in the first race. Gives Pickerel a bit of a gap as Pickerel starts challenging Josh, who's being pushed back into Pickerel by Burkhoff, as they maintain positions for 1, 2, and 3 in this tight field, less than a second apart from each other. And Josh makes a mistake, goes wide. Let's go into Pickerel's view, and he does take the position, but Josh gets a better run out of Spoon going into the straight. That's going to be extremely beneficial for Josh. Let's go back and see if he's able to challenge that into the front straight. So he's going to be critical for Josh to get a good exit out of 130R, and he does. Is he going to go for the outside? Pickerel goes into a defensive position. Josh on the outside, which means that he might get the inside out of the triangle, and he does. But Pickerel does get a good exit, holding that inside line. Josh going for that draft again. And all this fighting is giving Burkhoff a little bit of a gap. Josh, being the driver in the back, gets the better line as Pickerel was in a defensive position. As Josh maintains that inside line, but now Pickerel has the inside line into the S's. Very good driving, very nice defensive driving by both these drivers. As Richie tries to take advantage of the situation, tries to make a move. Bit of a bump. I feel like that would have been a racing incident, so Nice elbows out driving by these drivers as Richie's still trying to take an advantage by Josh. I wonder if his pressures are giving him a bit of a disadvantage. He might have miscalculated his pressures. Richie tries to have a look again. Josh giving some light, flashing, suggestive driving there, but Pickerel's way too advanced to be faced by any of those shenanigans. Let's move back to Richie here. Gets a good exit out of the hairpin. It's 200R. Trying to keep up with Josh here. Go to the heli cam. Follow, see what they're doing here. Cody staying with the pack in 5th place here. Josh loses it again. I do think that there might be something with his pressures. This type of inconsistency is not something we see often from Josh. So I do feel like he's got some something going on with his pressures. May have kept the pressures from the previous race, or miscalculated what they need to be at, but gave Pickerel the advantage for 2nd place, and he's keeping Richie right behind his tail. While these guys battle, why don't we go back and look at this battle down the field? Snyder pretty close to Provolone. A little bit of a gap there, but try to give it a minute, see how this one develops. I love this bumper cam. It gives you a bit of a sense of speed. Good view of the driver ahead. Us, we see Provolone going a little wide, but does not look like Snyder carried enough speed to take advantage of Provolone's slight mistake. As I see Provolone really shaping up here to try and make a move on Matt Morrison. Looks like he had a better entry. Oh, and Cody Wassam makes a very uncharacteristic mistake out of the hairpin. Spun around. I expect there might have been contact there, which we can go back and look. Looks like it's the 6th lap, or 3rd lap, I should say. So we will go back and look at that at the end of the race. So that promotes Cody Wassam. Actually, I should say promotes Provolone into 7th. Oh, the timing sheet's not updated. Wassam should be back there now. So I believe it promotes Provolone into 6th. There we go. Morrison into 5th. Drolleman into 4th. And Josh seems to have made him another mistake. What timing? Got that right on the time that Richie Drolleman seems to have taken advantage of Josh Wilson's mistake. There must be something going on with his tires. This is really not like Josh to have made so many mistakes. Very uncharacteristic of his magical right foot for sure. Still carrying quite good pace through the corners, but yeah, there's something going on with Josh, and we'll have to pull him up here at the end of the race to really find out. So about 10 minutes into the race, you would expect that people would be settling down into their pace, but still quite a bit of excitement in this midfield here as we go through the section in which Richie had a spin in the last race. Goes in a bit deep. I'm sure Josh is going to try and take advantage of this, but just not quite close enough to do so. So let's go through the field here for a quick second. we have Mike Burkoff in first place. A little bit of a squiggle there, but managed to keep it under control. Could exit into the back straight. Followed by Pickerel in second place with a 2.3 second gap to Richard Geralman with the Windbreaker 80s livery in third place. Josh Willis right behind, hunting him down in fourth place. Matt Morrison with a bit of a gap in fifth. Provolone hunting down Matt Morrison in sixth. Jerk Snyder, seventh place, 2.3 second gap. That's it. Looks like Snyder's found a little bit of pace from the last race, so I think maybe a bit of lack of practice through the week now finding his own, being able to keep up with the pack. Cody Wassam with that mistake. Wonder if he has damage. 7.5 seconds off seventh place. I'm sure he's going to make that up quite quickly. And we have Ray Frias quite a ways back with a 33 second gap. I wonder if he pit. I don't think so, but we'll be able to see hopefully soon here. But timing chart's just updated. Looks like Ray is in last place. Might have made a mistake. He'll almost see some damage in his rear bumper. Professor Cornotis in ninth place with a clean car in his Dragon Scale Dragon livery. Let's go back. Looks like Richie and Josh are in a bit of a battle here. Josh takes back third place from Richie. Wonder if this will work. Let's see. Let's try this 30-second replay button that we have in our race control. Looks like Richie had previously made an error, tried to take it back, but then Josh comes back in on the hairpin and makes the move back. That's really exciting racing from these two guys. Very controlled, very respectful, giving each other some space while keeping it competitive. So good job to both of them. Let's go back to the live timing here. Sure, Richie's gonna want that place back, as it looks like Pickerel may have made a mistake to get Josh and Richie right on his tail. Let's keep up with this pack here as our camera tries to find them. Going a little wide there. Into Dunlop, has the inside. Little over under. Pickle going wide. And Josh gets the position. Rich trying to take advantage, but oversteers out of the corner into Degna. Wow, that's another close one. That's exactly where he spun in the last race, but is able to maintain it this time. Driving, going deep into the hairpin, and is able to get the position, but Pickerel now has the inside line into 200 and is able to maintain third place. And as they battle, Josh manages to pull a little bit of a gap, hunting down Burkoff. Burkoff able to maintain a comfortable lead for the time being, but we still have a half hour to go. Let's switch back to Pickerel and Richie and see how this battle plays out. Richie getting a better exit out of 130R, looking on that inside. He's going for that deep braking. Pickerel gives them some room and then cuts off that apex out of the triangle and is able to get a decent gap, but I am sure Pickerel is going to come back at him. Both these drivers are really good, high-end, top-end skill drivers, and I'm sure they're going to continue this battle on. Making up that gap, Pickerel back right behind Richie's tail as they go into the S's. Hitting those apex is critical. It's critical. These combination of corners. I mean, you get the first one wrong and it just completely ruins the flow for the next section. Really important to make it through and hit that first apex and follow that flow through all the way through Dunlop, going into the Degnas as you go over the inside curb, which is the ideal line. Making sure you're patient on the throttle out of Degna 2, as we've seen Richie wiggle a little bit, make a mistake in the first race, but able to maintain his position into the hairpin here as Pickerel has a little bit of a look. Gets nice exit for both of these guys into 200 as they go into Spoon. Now Spoon is another challenging one. Really important to get a good exit out of Spoon on that off camber second portion of Spoon to make sure that you get a great run into the straightest. We see Josh going a little wide up ahead. Both these guys under control. Get a great exit out of Spoon into the back straight. Great driving from all these guys. But again, it looks like while Josh is staying clean, he's not putting down the laps that he usually does. So they say that was a 206.7 from Josh, 206.4 from Richie, 206.5 from Pickerel. Great laps from all of these guys. Let's go back to Morrison as he chases down Cody. Going to go into the car with him. Is he able to maintain the pace without making a mistake? That's the question we have. As we said earlier, you missed that first apex. You kind of ruined your flow into the rest of the S's. See him missing apex after apex, unable to hit this one as well. Let's see if he can correct it into Dunlop. Looks like he's going to a little bit wide. You really want to nail that last apex because it gives you really good speed that you carry into this little straight here. Into Degna 1 and 2. Cut the corner. Looks really nice there. And I think that he's going to be able to keep pace if he's able to keep his consistency here and catch up to Cody. Woody, we are seeing, so haven't watched F1 since 2008. Oh, that's a shame. It's a pretty interesting championship season we have right now with the epic battle between Hamilton and Verstappen. But I get it, you know, a lot of people are into the hybrid era. Missed those V12s for sure, but such is how the world works. You know, things change, technologies change. Interested to see what the next generation of performance vehicles are going to look like with all this hybrid technology in play. I do like WEC as well. WEC is pretty cool. It's good. Again, very technology based. Great hypercars we see in the field. Hopefully more coming from what I hear. I think Ferrari might be getting back into it. So really gonna be cool to see a bigger grid of the high-end hypers and prototypes. Yeah, hopefully it's a bigger field, more racing, more stuff for us to watch, more things for us to enjoy. Hopefully that trickles down into our sims that we drive, so we can pretend like we're those guys, and have conversations with those guys. If you were not aware, we did have a conversation with two-time Daytona winner, Daytona 24-hour Rolex winner, Dominic Farnbacher. It's on our VODs, and I'm not sure if it's been uploaded to YouTube just yet, but it will be on our YouTube channel as well. Going through some of his experiences, some of his recommendations, some of his suggestions. Which are basically all the same things that I just said, but ran out of words. This gap staying relatively consistent, but Matt's gonna chip away at Cody's delta here. We're gonna wait. We do see Josh up ahead, making up that time, getting closer and closer to Burkhoff. As mentioned before, Matt Morrison actually has some experience in driving real-life Porsche Cup cars. Really cool, and hopefully we get an opportunity in the future to have that conversation live with him. Have you guys join us, ask questions, talk about what he's got to say about how well represented they are within our sim. Down to 0.4 of a second gap. Getting a good exit out of Dunlop into Declan 1. And Declan 2, a little bit wide on that apex. Might have given Cody a bit of an advantage there. Cody Watson in 4th place here. As, oh, we see a pit from Burkhoff. So let's see. I assumed that was a pit from Burkhoff. And Willis? So they are in 6th and 7th. I don't think I saw any contact there, but I assume they both went in for their pits, but don't understand. So what could have happened? Alright, that makes sense. So I expect Willis went in for a quick stop, maybe a splash and dash, and Burkhoff probably took some tires. Now that built a 20-second gap between Burkhoff and Willis. Is that the right move? Is he going to make up a lap with newer tires? So that's an assumption. It's an assumption of the move that Burkhoff made. Unfortunately, we don't have the capability of looking at those times to really understand if that was the case, but I assume so. So let's see if Burkhoff is able to make up that delta through the race, the remainder of the race here, with only 20 minutes left. There's not that much time. We're way past the halfway point here as we wait for Pickerel, Wasson, Morrison, Drawman to pit. Yeah, Provolone, Snyder, Carnotis, Again, all these guys get to pit. I believe Josh and Burkhoff have pit. I think Richie must have pit as well, as he's only 7 seconds behind. Oh, Richie goes wide, misses his braking point. That's not gonna help him catch up with Josh. I really hope he does manage to close the gap, but not with consistency like that, Richie. So maybe we could pay attention to the times Burkhoff is putting down relative to Josh Willis. You see Chrono either getting out of the way or making a mistake, or both. Alright, Josh Willis crossing the line at a 2:07.4. Burkhoff comes in. Bit of a mistake on the exit there. Maybe his tires are not quite warm yet. Ooh, that's at 2:12. Wonder if that's an outlap or a mistake. That's tough to tell. It's tough to tell without live timing or some timing history. It'd be awesome if we were able to see that. But undeniable, Josh with nearly a 25-second lead over Burkhoff. Burkhoff makes a mistake, loses more time, gives Provolone the opportunity to come through. As he goes off, is he calling it? No, he's not calling it quits. Let's go, Mike. Come on, you got this. See, Morrison still chasing Cody. Gap's increased a little bit as they both go into the pits, and let's see if either one gains an advantage here. So they were about 1.5 seconds apart. Looks like they both remembered to hit their pit limiter, which is great. Josh gets promoted back into first. Ooh, that might have been a bit of a challenge for Matt, given that Cody was in the way. Splash and dash for Cody. Matt gets stuck a little bit. That's gonna hurt. Oh, that's a long time. Is he taking tires? Maybe he is. That was not 30 seconds. He's back down. Still stuck there. Ooh. This is where not mandating tires is gets interesting. You know, I mean, losing 30 seconds here on a tire change with 15 minutes left is not the right call. We'll have to come back and see whether this plays out for him. It's finally away. That was a long time. I wonder if he had any damage. So, first place, Josh Willis with an 8-second lead over Rich Geralman. who has a 1 second lead over Pickerel. 15 seconds to Was. 6 seconds to Provolone. 18 seconds to Burkhoff. That's... Come on, Mike. Let's see you make a move. Morrison. Return to pits. I think must have forgotten to turn off his tires. That's my assumption there. Snyder in 8th. And Kronotis in 9th place. Yep. That was Morrison's out. Which immediately promotes Kronotis to 8th place. Let's see how Pickerel's doing over here. Good job tightening the gap. Loving the view of that sun setting in the background there. I love sunrise sunset races. I love sunrises and sunsets. And having racing is a super bonus. Oh, little happy on the trigger there, Pickerel. Sun again. Little bit too deep for him. Compromising his exit out of the casino triangle, giving Richie the advantage. Looks like they're coming into lapped traffic. These guys really having to wrestle these cars now as the sun goes down. You see their tire temps going down as well. It's going to be a challenge, something they may or may not have planned for. Nice clipping of the apex there, a little bit wide for deck 2. That's a risky spot. You get quite a few track cuts there, so hopefully these guys are keeping it conservative and not getting the 30-second stop and go. And Snyder very kindly moving out of the way. Sunsets. Love the rays of sunshine in this sim. Really cool. So well represented. what's going on. So we have Josh Willis in first place with an 8-second gap to Geralaman, with less than a second gap to Pickerel. Catching up there. Gonna come back to this soon. Wassam in fourth. 15-second gap to third. As the camera finds him. Provolone fifth. 8-second gap. Burkoff sixth. 17-second gap. We will bring Burkoff in later and talk to him and find out what happened if he's interested in joining us. But Snyder in seventh with minute and 33 seconds, and Chrono in 8th place with another 50-second gap. Let's go back to the Pickerel Geralaman battle. This is exciting. I want to go inside with Pickerel. Looks like Pickerel has the pace, but can he maintain the consistency that he needs to pressure Richie into a mistake? And that's one of the things we were talking about earlier. Unfortunately proven to be false in this particular race, but it's one of the things that the two drivers that are standout drivers in this category for me in terms of strategery and overtaking are Cody Watson and Mitch McConnell. So these two guys play the long game. They are patient, they wait for the right opportunity, and they're so skilled being able to drive close with our other lead drivers and yet maintain the position without making a mistake, without hitting other people, and really eventually forcing other people to make a mistake. Now, Cody's not within a gap to be able to show us his skill in that particular division, but I am sure we will be seeing it in our other races, like our Sunday night GT3s at 8:30 Eastern, and our Thursday night GT4s at 9 Eastern. Or even our Endurance Championship, which will be coming up soon here, I believe, on October 3rd, maybe? So that's going to be super exciting. It's either October 2nd or October 3rd. We have that posted up on the website on tracklicious.com. So, or you can go to tracklicious.com/simracing. Get all the information about our championships and our links to Twitch, YouTube, Discord, Facebook, all the social media, Instagram. As Pickerel finds more pace, Richie getting a decent exit, but that delta definitely closing up for Pickerel. They are the closest battle on track now. The sun's gone down, tire temp's going down, track temp going down. These cars are going to get trickier and trickier to drive by the minute. Another great exit. Oh, as I say that, get the commentator's curse. Pickerel going on the gas a little bit too early as Richie dodges to break that draft. A little over 5 minutes to go. Josh Willis in first place, maintaining a comfortable 9-second lead over second and third. Constable Cody Watson fourth, Jason Provolone in fifth. Mike Burkoff, sixth place, dropping down from his pole position. Let's find out what happened there. Jared Snyder and Professor Crinonis closing off the field with seventh and eighth. braking for Pickerel. I think looked like Richie was going in a little bit too shallow. Not rounding the curve to be able to provide that good exit onto 200R. See if he's able to maintain that. Richie gets much better entry into Spoon. Pretty good exit out of Spoon. A little bit wide on the apex, but advantage to Richie on that combination of curves for sure. Again, loving that view. Sunset. You can see the Ferris wheel in the background. Love the details of this game. Not only is the effort put into the realistic characteristics of the cars and the tires and the handling, but also the details you see on track. Really giving you that immersive experience. So, looks like could be potentially the penultimate lap. Joshua is first place. Drallman second, Pickerel third, Wasson fourth, Provolone fifth. Burkhoff 6th, Snyder 7th, and Crinonis 8th. And Eric Lucassian, who's not in the race in 9th place. Would have been anyways. But we are here. We are looking at this battle between Pickerel and Drallman. And a bit of a gap still, but getting closer, and as we go into the final lap, might be too big a gap unless Richie makes a mistake. But anything's possible. It is racing. It is sim racing. Looks like Pickerel does a pretty good job in the first corner. Let's see what happens with the S's. Still the S's. Now going into Dunlop. Looks like he is gaining again. Just seesawing back and forth. You know, getting down to a little under a half a second and then extending to over a second. Really putting in the work. Oh, tentative into Degna too. This is where he spun. Tires must be cold, so he's being super cautious. But that puts Pickerel right on his tail. Oh, and he goes defensive. This is going to give Pickerel the better exit out of the turn. Yogi, thank you for the follow. You've joined us at a really exciting point in the race. Last lap battle between Pickerel and Drallman for second and third place. Less than half a second between these two. Really critical to get the Spoon entry and exit right. Looks like Pickerel probably getting the better exit. It's going to benefit him all the way down the straight. So, pretty comfortable win for Josh Willis there. He's about to go down. Is he going to make a move into 130R? No, breaks early. Lets Richie go is that going to be the critical error? Pickrell going conservative, making things fair, hoping for Richie to make a mistake into this last turn. I mean, after 45 minutes of racing, we get bumper to bumper battle here. Joshua is finishing the race in first place with an 8-second gap to second and third as these guys battle to the finish. Great job. Really exciting to see. So close by these two guys. Let's go back. Make sure Cody wraps up fourth place. No more errors for Cody. Uncharacteristic one we saw earlier with a bit of a spin, but still managing to make up some time to come back into fourth places. Provolone coming out of the triangle. Fifth place. Pretty good finish for him. Burkhoff down the road. Very interested to see what happened to Mike Burkhoff. That's the question of the night. Waving right back at you, Yogi. With your cool little emoji there. Thank you again for the follow as we finish off this race at Suzuka in our Porsche Cup Championship. There we go. Burkhoff in sixth. Snyder. Already finished in seventh. Chrono wrapping up the race. Credit to you, Professor Chronotis, for sticking around. A little bit of a race by yourself, but putting in the laps to learn the car. There we go. There we go for the finish. Thank you, Professor Chrono. Well, there you have it, folks. Josh Wilson first. Drawman second. Pickrell third. Watson fourth. Provolone fifth. Burkhoff sixth. Snyder seventh. Chronotis closing off the pack with his 8th place. Let's see if we can. So, Josh, I do hear you in here. We did have an issue earlier with voice coming through. So, I think I've disabled streamer mode, which might mean that your voice can come through now. So why don't we test that out? Maybe I can hear.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Test that out. Maybe I can hear. Nope, still can't hear you. Well, I apologize, guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that in the short time. But Josh, I'll express nice race from you there. Maybe you could tell us what happened, or tell me what happened at the end there, or in the middle there with Burkhoff, and I could relay that message back to the team here. So, a bit uncharacteristic from Mike. Sounds like he did spin at 130R, and that gave you the position. Might have been a bit of damage because, I mean, he was quite a bit, was like 30 to 45 seconds behind you. So I am pulling up the replay here, and let's see if we can find his spin. Not to shed light on his misfortune, but we're curious. We want to see what happened. So, still in first place. That's the start of the lap. So you pointed out that it is 130R. Oh, was it? No, it was later. He is still in first. Oh, there it is. Yeah, on his 10th lap. Let's go back and have a look at it. Let's go to his view here. recent entry. That's so interesting. I don't think I've seen that happen. Yeah. But that seems like that's where the racing line always is. That's where you put your tires. So, yeah. So let's look at you are a little bit tighter on the exit of that corner, skipping the curbing on the outside, which, to be frank, saved you. So dive into the pits right at that time. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so Josh here, apologize, I can't get his voice on stream here, but saying that once he saw Burkhoff with the spin, decides to go into the pits and take advantage of his newfound first place position. So, well, Josh, another great race from you. Double first places. Will continue to help you out in the championship. And as we mentioned, you have found some great pace over the off season. Happy to see you in first. Hope to continue seeing you in first in the GT3 championship. Being my teammate, love seeing you up there. And yeah, we will appreciate you hopping in, despite the fact that the stream can't hear you. And hope to see all you guys back tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern for our GT3 Championship. We have a 46 driver field. It is amazing. So many people on there. Really fun and competitive driving. Appreciate you guys sticking around for the whole stream. Hello and goodbye and good night to all.